Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Betrayal at Krondor. In our last episode, our party finally arrived at the city of Krondor, only to find their progress halted. The main gate to the castle was inoperative, possibly sabotaged. So, in order to get into the castle, they've decided to go under the city, through the sewers, where they've already run into some enemies. So let's continue our exploration of these dark sewers and try to find a way through to the castle. I'm going to head off in this direction just really quickly because we didn't explore this passage. Looks like that's a dead end. Alright, so let's continue. Back to where we just were. So we made almost a complete circuit. Let me stop right here and look at our map. And as you can see, we started right down here, and we went in almost a completely full circle here, and there's a little dead end there. So let's now go, and there's some more passages leading off in this direction, but let's go ahead and go this way this time. Let's turn left and see what's over on this edge of the sewers. Oh, looks like one of our torches is burning out. Let's light another one. You never know what you might run into, what sort of hazards are waiting in the darkness. We don't want to be caught by surprise. We've already found some treasure chests that were trapped, one of which killed us, but we survived through the magic of the save and restore functions, and another one that contains some treasures. Luckily, we have a spell at our disposal that is still active up here. Attentive, that lets us detect trap chests. Alright, there's another room here. I don't see any enemies. Alright, let's take a look around. There's another ladder. Let's try, maybe this will be our way up. Locklear cursed. After a long time examining the lock, he brushed the dust off of his hands and knees. Someone's tampering before us has done this lock-in, Locklear said. They've broken the mechanism trying to pick it. No one will be getting through that lock with a key, pick locks, or otherwise. Another broken lock. Someone has been here before us and either has been incredibly incompetent or, well, has intentionally broken these locks to keep us from getting through, or us or anyone else. Alright, there's a bit of a crossroads here. We could go right or left. Let's go left first. See what's down here. Looks like yet another dead end. Well, that's alright. That's a good thing. That means that we know that there's nowhere else to go in that direction, so that there's only one way to go. Let's keep heading straight. Path curves to the right. Another ladder. Okay, are there any enemies? No, but there is something on the ground there. Let's check the ladder first. No, another broken lock. But there is a box here. Scent of Sareg is still in effect, so we can safely try to open this box without worrying about it being trapped. It'll warn us first. Locklear gritted his teeth. While they had agreed the box should be opened, he was privately concerned that the previous user might have left behind an unpleasant surprise. Ah, some rope. Let's take that. You can never have too much rope on an adventure. It can always come in handy. Okay, nothing else in this room except for what looks like a dead body. Good rations, so we'll go ahead and share that amongst the party. Some more money. And another sword. Let's move this over to Locklear so Gorath can have a chance to try to repair it. There we go. I'm going to keep trying to increase Gorath's skills. He's getting very good at that ability. They were not alone. Their opponents seemed completely prepared for an attack, making Owen wonder if there were reinforcements nearby. In any event, judging by their posturing, he guessed they were well trained. Ooh, this is terrifying. These look like Nighthawks. If you've read the Rift War novels, you know that the Nighthawks were an order of assassins working for the Temple of the God of Death. The Nighthawks were professional, well-trained, almost impossible to defeat, and worse, when killed, had a nasty tendency to come back from the dead, to rise again and keep fighting. Let's get Owen out of the way so he can try to cast a spell. And Locklear, you stop this guy so he'll stop chasing Owen. That didn't work. Maybe Gorath can help with that. Okay, the enemy did take some damage. Let's keep trying to move Owen around the battlefield here to get out of reach. Locklear can make it that far. Let's try to get up there. 78% accuracy, but he still missed, unfortunately. Gorath's too far away, so Gorath's going to go ahead and attack this enemy in front of him. Fortunately, that enemy missed Owen. Owen's going to keep trying to move. Ooh, but my friends are taking quite a bit of damage. I'm hoping that Owen has a chance to cast soon. He does. Okay, so let's take a look at our friends. I believe Locklear's been hit more, so let's cast Hocho's Haven on Locklear. This will protect him from being hit. Locklear's still okay. He has stamina remaining, so let's go ahead and attack. Who has more chance? 78%. It's an equal chance to hit either of them. I believe this one's already taken more damage. And Gorath will continue. Gorath still has stamina as well. He'll continue attacking this enemy. Owen will rest to begin regaining his health. And the first enemy is down. That was a good hit, but he took one in return. Owen's going to keep resting. And Locklear is going to begin attacking this enemy. Locklear now has Owen now has stamina returning. That's good. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. I clicked the wrong spot. Locklear still has stamina. He's still okay. He's still shielded. The second enemy is down. Oh, the shield is down and Locklear did take some damage. But I think he's still okay. He's out of stamina. I'm going to move him clear. And Gorath's going to advance and engage. Alright, now Locklear is recovering stamina. He now has full hit points. And the third enemy is down. The battle was won. Alright, let's take a look at these enemies. I hope they don't... We need to keep an eye on them that they don't raise from the dead. Well, here's a useful hammer. Before we take that hammer, let's drop off this sword. Sorry, I meant to say drop this in there. And take this one just to repair it. We'll keep this one. It's a higher percentage now, 88%. And we'll probably keep this armor as well. It's up to 93. That's better than Owen's armor. We'll go ahead and give that to Owen. And same thing with Locklear. Well, Locklear could do better there. 90% is better than 88. Let's switch out the 84. Oh. Take the 90. Swap that out. 88, 89. And these are all 74 and 84. Good. We'll take this sword while we're at it. We can fit it. The next body. Some good gold. Could always use that. We could always use herbal packs. Good rations, so let's share that amongst the party as well. Alright, we're going to have to drop off... I'm going to just have Gorath keep being responsible for this sort of stuff. This sort of thing. Can anybody hold another sword? if Owen were to give this to Gorath, he could take one of the swords. And now Gorath can just drop one item. We'll just put this there. I just want to be able to repair it, that's all. And then we'll immediately give it back. We'll keep that sword. Okay. And the last body. Some more money we could always use. That's always good to have. I'm going to give these rations, 5 of them to Owen, and the rest to Locklear. That gives enough room for Gorath to take a sword. Excellent. I believe we've already repaired these other ones. And now Locklear can... We'll have Locklear repair that suit of armor. Give him a chance to work his skills. 91%, that's wonderful. That's actually better than the armor he's wearing, so we'll swap that out. Alright, let's continue on our way. Before we do that, actually, let's rest for a little bit, just to heal up. And we'll once again light another torch. We have 11 left, so that's not too bad. Okay, we could continue east or head north here. Let's head north. Let's see what's in that direction. Ah, another ladder. I don't see any enemies. I do see another box. And our spell has worn off, so we'll have to cast that again. First things first, is this our destination? Is this where we're supposed to go? Another broken lock. Alright, Owen, you know what to do. Let's cast Scent of Sareg. Okay, this one was just a regular box. More rope. I wonder if all this rope will come in handy somewhere around here. Someone whistled. Turning around, Locklear felt a stone sink in his gullet, fearing they had left themselves open to attack by yet another band of Nighthawks. To his great surprise, however, a familiar friend stepped from the shadows. By the 12 gods, Locklear, your hair! It's just like you, Jimmy. I haven't seen you in 7 months, and I rescue you from a band of Nighthawks, and the first thing you want to talk about is my bloody change of hair color. What is going on around here? The front gate is smashed and there are Nighthawks loose in the sewers. Not Nighthawks. Imposters. Someone's been trying to convince Prince Arutha that the Guild of Death has re-established operations here in Krondor and is using the sewers as their hideout, hoping that the Lancers will come down and clean out the place. In doing so, I think whoever is running this game hopes that the Lancers will root out the Mockers while they're at it. Now, just to remind you, if you haven't read the books, the Mockers are the thieves that live under the sewers, under the city in the sewers, and of course, you know the Nighthawks are the Guild of Death. James is Jimmy the Hand, Squire James, one of the main characters of the first 3 books. He's a major character. He starts off as a thief, as one of the Mockers, working for the Upright Man, who gets sort of adopted in a way by Prince Arutha, taken under his wing and made into a squire, who now is fiercely loyal to the prince. What? Take out the Guild of Thieves? Doesn't seem likely from all the things you've told me from your days as a Mocker. More to the point, we know now a few of the Nighthawks escaped to Romney when we smashed them up after that affair with Princess Anita. They certainly won't dare tread Krondor's streets for a while yet. I'd been tracking around down here trying to find out more when I ran into those fellows. So, why have you come back so soon to Krondor, Lockie? I thought you were going to be gone another 4 months or so. I've got bad news from the Northlands. Looks like the Dark Brothers are stirring again. They raised Myrmidamis's battle standards over Sarsargoth, and there's a Mordor army gathering to attack the kingdom. This Mordor used to be one of their clan chieftains, something of a hero during the Rift War against the Sorani too. I thought Prince Arutha would be interested in talking to him. I don't like this, Lockie. The Moradel stirring again in the north, and someone mimicking the Guild of Death. My bump of trouble says that things are going to get far worse before they get better. I assume since you're down here that you're trying to get into the palace the way I showed you a few years ago? Yes, I was thinking I'd have to pry off the grates somehow, but if you have the key, it would save me a great deal of trouble. Still on me, it's all yours. I could find my own way into the palace. I'm going to creep around a while longer down here and see if I can unravel this particular mystery. Suit yourself. I, for one, am anxious to get out of this hole. Come and get me for breakfast tomorrow after I've spoken to Prince Arutha. Okay, so Locklear, his old friend Jimmy, is down here in the sewers. And it looks like we have gotten a royal key of Krondor. Gorath turned the tear-shaped key over. The Prince of Krondor's standard, he said, indicating the bas-relief image of an eagle soaring high over a mountain's peak. I can see why thieves might be interested in getting hold of a key that opens every door in the Prince's palace. Alright, let's keep exploring. We'll continue on our way north. We still haven't found the right grate to try to open, though. But at least now we have a key. Uh-oh, what is this? The cavernous pit stretched across the narrow corridor. Standing close to the edge, Locklear quickly determined that it was far too wide to jump across, and far too deep to try climbing down. This is why I was warning you to always have a torch lit while exploring the sewers. Let me go ahead and save the game just to demonstrate. If I were just blindly stumbling through the sewers in the darkness, unable to see anything, well, this might happen to us. Locklear flailed. His last impressions were those of a dark shaft and hard-packed earth rushing up to meet him. The end. But we don't want that to happen, do we? Fortunately, we came equipped with a particular item. A pit yawned before them. Careful not to edge too close and fall in, Locklear shook his head. The only way we're getting across that is to swing across it, he said. Glancing up at a small hook on the ceiling, he nodded. Apparently we're not the only ones to have faced this dilemma. I think I could attach a rope up there. Shall we try to swing across? That's why we have rope. And we're across. And it's a dead end, so that was a waste of rope. We need to be careful. We do have a limited amount of rope that we can use. Whoa. Now we only have 10 uses left, so we gotta be careful about that. Alright, so we're back to where we met Squire James. So that was a dead end, so let's take a look at our map again. So it looks like this middle section still needs to be explored. So where we were here, let's go ahead now and head to the east. We're gonna have to keep our eyes out for more enemies. Alright, now we could go back to the south again. Let's do that. Let's head in this direction. Keeping our eyes out for pits, keeping our eyes out for enemies. I hope we don't run into any more Nighthawks. Okay, let's turn right. I believe this is just going to meet up with a passage that we've already been to. What is that? They descended the stairwell. Halfway down its spiral, they discovered a heavy iron door which prevented them from moving any further downward. Looks like it's rusted shut, Locklear said, examining the reddish dust which caked the lock. No going further for the time being. Disheartened, he led the way back up to the mouth of the stairwell. Well, this would lead down to a lower level of the sewers, and we don't need to go down. We need to be going back up at some point, so that's fine. If we ever come down here again and we need to go further down, well, we know where we need to go. Alright, heading in the other direction. Up, enemies. Not Nighthawks, at least. Let's try to get the jump on them. Their opponents were surprised. The leader of the small mob screamed orders at his companions, a mix of fear and anger apparent in his voice. Seizing the first strike opportunity, Locklear barked several quick orders, and the battle was joined. That's good, we got a surprise round. Owen, you go ahead. Let's take the initiative. 68% chance. Let's do this one. Gorath took a little bit of splash damage, but he's alright. That one in the back has a crossbow. Owen, go do some damage to him. These enemies have quite a bunch of hit points, it looks like. Oh, that first one's down, though, and Owen had the killing blow. And the second one is down. These ones weren't terribly difficult, especially because we got the surprise on them. Gorath's defense ability has increased. Here's some money. What is this? Silverthorn. Again, if you've read the books, you know that Silverthorn is a deadly poison. Owen was careful as he held it up, knowing a single scratch from its silvery thorns could kill. Corpulent red berries dangled from the plant's rose-like stem, each bud heavy with deadly poison. If crushed over a blade or an arrow, the Silverthorn would make any cut made with the weapon far more lethal. So we can use that. This is a way we can poison weapons. Why don't we go ahead and do that? I need to find room in somebody's inventory just for a moment to hand off an item. Let's Oh, that's so interesting. I noticed that. Notice that Locklear, just as an aside here, notice Locklear's stealth is 60 now. If I hand these shoes over to Gorath, now his stealth is only 30, and Gorath has gone up to 64. So just having those shoes in your inventory makes you more stealthy. These are those weed walkers. Affecting player statistics. It doesn't really give you specifics there. Alright, let's go ahead and take the Silverthorn, and we're going to use it on Gorath's sword. Let's repair it first. A look of absolute concentration was etched on Gorath's face as he prepared his blade with the Silverthorn. Pinching off a single berry, he crushed it against the blade, causing a blood-like fluid to trickle down the length of the sword's fuller. He'd have to take great care not to scratch himself on it when he resheathed the weapon, or the venom would have him dead within minutes. Those who've read the novels know that the prince's fiancée, Princess Anita, was struck by a Silverthorn crossbow bolt and nearly died. Finally, let's go ahead and repair Owen's armor as well. Oh, Owen's fine. He doesn't need a repair. Okay. Alright, let's check the other body. Party's abilities increased. We'll check that in a moment. More money. More keys. More crossbow bolts. That's actually good. Those are Serani crossbow bolts. They have a base damage of 7 plus the crossbow, but they're slightly less accurate. -5 to the accuracy. We'll go ahead and take them. We'll give them to Gorath. Maybe he can try to use them against enemies. Worse crossbow than anything we're holding. Trying to make a little bit more room in Gorath's inventory for that armor so we can try to repair it. Sorry, wrong wrong thing I'm doing. 87, 89. Let's keep the 89. It'll sell for a little bit more. Okay. We'll continue on our way. Locklear's armorcraft increased, and Gorath's armorcraft and weaponcraft increased even more. Alright, continuing on our way through the sewers. Yeah, up here is where we didn't go yet, in this area. So let's keep... This may eventually connect to that area that we were already in. I hope we don't run into more Nighthawks. Oh, okay, we're back at the entrance. Wonderful. Okay, so we've made a pretty full circuit. So the only way remaining to go, it looks like, is to the north over here. Back through these passages that we already went through once. Here's that box that we failed to open that first time. Just for the fun of it. Let's see if we can survive the dangers of this box. Nope, we're dead. Someday, box. Someday I'll be able to open you. Anyway, back in our prime timeline where that never happened. Alright, so let's continue north. We should make it back to a room where we left off here. Okay, let's check our map really fast. I believe this is as far north as we went, right? In our last episode, we went here, and then we headed east, and we went down this way. So this is all new territory for us. Let's keep our wits about us. Oh, our torch is burning out. There we go. Keep our eyes open. Pits and Nighthawks and who knows what else we're going to run into down here. For example, a box on the ground. 2 seashells. We might not even have room for those, for both of them. Well, one thing I can do is I can give 2 of these rations to Gorath. I meant to say 2 more to Gorath, sorry. And then the rest to Locklear. It still wasn't enough to open up a spot in Owen's inventory. There we go. That way Locklear's holding all the rope. I didn't mean to give the rations to the box. Alright. And that's a dead end. I'm not going to complain about those dead ends because that means we at least know that that wasn't the way to go. It's one less place we have to explore. Alright, so now heading left, there should be a passage upwards here and a passage upwards here. If I remember correctly, we looked down this passage and saw enemies. That's what happened last time. Let's try to get them. Nope. Once again, those worshippers of Guiswa, the red-jawed hunter. Spraying a 3-fingered hand, a ritual mutilation of the priestly caste, a large finger rasped. Today, Guiswa ordains that you shall be his prey. I sure hope not. Owen's gonna rest. And Locklear and Gorath are going to jump into battle here. The more stamina Owen has... Ooh, that wasn't good. The more stamina Owen has, the better he will do in casting. Locklear's going to harry this enemy. And that first enemy's down. That second enemy's trying to hurt Owen, but luckily he's missed both times he's tried to attack. And now he doesn't even have the movement range to reach Owen. And the second enemy was down. Fortunately, these worshippers of Guiswa aren't particularly good at their job. Gorath's melee's ability has increased, though, up to 53%. Sign of good things to come, I hope. It's just more weapons and armor. Let's see if the other body has... Okay, I guess the other body was the one over here. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Some more money, restoratives, spoiled rations. We won't take those, and we're just going to ignore the armor. Well, I mean, no, let's not do that. Let's see what the worst armor we have is. Obviously, we're going to repair the armor we have. $94, $90, $93, $89 is the worst. So let's go ahead and drop this one off. Wait, which one did I already forgot which one I dropped off. Okay, that's up to 95 now. And same thing, an 83% sword. We'll drop this one. And we'll try to repair it. We'll see what we can do. Up to 95, that's good. And the other one only had weapons and armor, so inventory, playing with that one's just going to be more trouble than it's worth. Let's just keep heading north. Another room. Another ladder. Locklear frowned. Peering through the hole into the inner workings of the lock, he saw nothing within that gave him cause to be enthusiastic about the chances of getting in. This lock takes a very special key, and is clearly not pickable, he said. If we want in, we will have to find the key. Alright. That's the lock we're looking for. Before we go in there, though, let's just do one last thing. Let's head back the way we came, just very quickly. I'd like to see what's in that other direction. What was down this passageway? Also, let's take a look at our stats. I'd like to heal everyone really fast. We've got plenty of torches. We found the exit. Let's just explore a little bit more, because there might be, who knows, what we might discover. We might discover bad things like these enemies. Nope, the enemy was not surprised. I don't recall having given you permission to be here. A large bull-necked man stalked towards them, his fist curled before him. Turn around. We don't want any trouble, we're simply passing through, Locklear replied. Immediately the man turned and snapped his fingers, and moments later the battle was joined. Alright, at least Owen is free. Let's start things off on a powerful foot here. Let's use some flame cast on that enemy with the crossbow. Oh, and we missed. Locklear and Gorath will fight the enemies nearest to them. That's not good. I think Locklear is the one that's most at risk right now. So Owen's going to go ahead and cast Hochos Haven on Locklear. That'll prevent him from taking any more damage for now. Because if you notice, his stamina's already gone. At this point, he's already going to start suffering stat loss. Owen will go and assist Gorath with this enemy. In fact, Locklear, rest one turn. Ooh, that's not good. Gorath just keeps missing, and I don't know why. He's down to 0 stamina as well. But he finally got a hit off. I would have Owen run up there, but... Okay, that first enemy's down. Now Locklear can harry that crossbow wielder. That'll stop him from attacking Owen. Owen can rest and begin gaining some of his health back. Well, unless this guy attacks Owen. Second enemy's down, though, and Owen's gonna flee for it. Gorath will assist in keeping that guy busy. Owen will go behind Locklear. Okay, now he's going to concentrate on Gorath. And all three of us will attack. Ugh, everyone's just missing, but there, finally we defeated that enemy. That was a little bit of a tough battle, but Locklear's abilities increased. His melee accuracy went up, and his strength. Let's see if anybody has anything worth taking. Another key. We'll look at that armor and weapon in just a moment. Because they're so close together, it's going to be hard to separate these two bodies. Some more quarrels we can give to Gorath. He can carry 2. This is one of those dragon stones that you can use to, again, enhance the abilities of a sword. We'll come back to this. And in that last body, some money and more torches. Okay. Let's go ahead and take this armor off, and we'll see if we can repair this armor. Elven armor, nowhere near as good as what we have, but it should sell well. Let's go ahead and drop this sword and take this Mortal Lamprey. And that repaired up to 92. We'll leave that then there. Actually, let's go ahead and get rid of that armor and take the one that's much better. And poor Owen's armor is just not doing well at all. He'll take the 90% armor, thank you. Sorry, I meant to give that to Locklear. That allows Gorath to take this armor that Owen was wearing. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Owen's was down to 67%. He's taken quite a few hits. Now it's back up to 82. Okay, we're in pretty good shape. Let's check that second body. It's almost, no one has any space left. We're just going to repair this just to get the skill boosts. Okay. And then we'll take back the good armor. And same thing, we'll get rid of this Kingdom Sword in exchange for this Broadsword. Okay, this whetstone is almost done. There we are. And we'll leave it at that. Now we can go back. Gorath's armor craft increased. Now we can go back to this body, take this item, now that there's room for it, and now we should be able to drop off items like this. Take the other armor and repair it. Up to 72. Not good enough to keep, but we're just trying to repair things. We just want to go ahead and get the credit for that. We just want to keep increasing our skills. There we go. Okay. And we're not doing very well. Let's camp until healed once again. Locklear, a torch, please. Alright, let's continue on now that we've done that. There's a passage leading to the right with a box on it. There's a chest. Well, Owen, you know what to do. This one is safe. Let's try picking it. No, it's beyond our ability. Perhaps... Kingdom Key doesn't work. What about this Noble's Passkey? And... a Gilder's Passkey. Nope, that broke. I doubt this Royal Key of Krondor will work. No, unfortunately... this is just beyond our ability to open. I don't believe we have any abilities right now that would allow us to increase our lockpicking ability. Actually, just a moment. That's a defense potion. This one is a strength potion. This one was an archery potion. Just making sure we don't have anything that increases abilities in picking locks. That's a light spell. Nothing that we have right now. Well, we know that chest is there. Perhaps we'll come back for it someday. And looks like a dead end. Okay. I believe there's only one way left to go. Then. And that's the passage right coming up here. I believe this is the only passage we haven't been down. Or rather, yeah, no, that is the passage we've been down. We defeated these worshippers of Guiswa. This is the way out, and the only thing left to look is what's up here. I know technically we're supposed to be getting where we need to go. We need to get to Prince Arutha and, you know, deliver this message, but frankly, I want treasure. Alright, no one's here. Looks like an empty room. I don't see any sort of treasures, any chests or boxes. I doubt this way leads up. Nope, another broken lock. And a pit. Let's go ahead and swing across it. Let's see if that was worth what we did. Okay, we can continue going straight or go left. Left leads us. Another ladder. I don't see any enemies. Ooh. I think I know what this is. Transport through these sewers is strictly prohibited. Official kingdom business only. Swordmaster Corby. Another broken lock. I don't see any boxes or anything else here. If this just leads to a dead end, well, at least we'll know that there was nothing else to do. Oh wait, this connects through to where we were before. Okay, good. And our light is fading. Locklear, if you'd be so kind as to relight your torch, thank you. Alright, let's head back the way we came. I'm just going to kind of race through here real quick. We know that there's no pits. And we'll get back to that turn here where we can now go south. A wide open space here and another passage to the south. This appears to connect through to a place that we've already been. Yeah, we've already been down here. This is that road that leads to the, yep, to the second level. Somehow we missed this passage last time. And that means that this, yep, this connects through to an area we've already been as well. This is where we fought the Nighthawks. Alright, then we've been... It looks like we've explored pretty much everything. Alright, let's head back up to the north. We're going to have to keep our eyes open for that pit. We are going to have to swing across. We don't have to. We could take the long way around, but this should be a more direct route. We'll waste the rope one last time and head back to that ladder. Was that a box on the ground? No, it doesn't look like it. It's hard to tell sometimes the way the textures are in this game if there's anything on the ground. Alright, let's get out of these sewers finally. With a pleasant click, the key turned in the metal lock. Locklear turned to his companions and motioned for them to follow him up the ladder. The gate swung open. Revolted by the thick scent of excrement in the chamber, Locklear hastened to the ladder affixed on the far wall and ascended its filth-slick rungs. Behind him, Gorath and Owen reluctantly did likewise, gaffing on the noxious vapors in the shaft. "This is nothing," Locklear grunted, shoving upwards against the grating. "All the windows in the palace are open right now. You ought to smell it in the winter." Darkness surrounded them as they slithered out of the privy, their only impressions of the chamber provided by the faint flicker of distant firelight. 10 yards before them, the hall joined with an elaborate colonnade stretching in either direction. "Somehow I hadn't pictured my first visit to Krondor like this," Owen sighed, falling blindly in a step behind Gorath and the Seigneur. "What, you didn't like the romantic tour?" Locklear chuckled. "Not many people get to see that way into the palace." Drawing up short, Locklear's features brightened as he observed a pair of approaching figures lost in conversation. Self-conscious of his bedraggled condition, he straightened his uniform and cleared his throat with a stentorian air. "Greetings, Prince Arutha and Master Magician Pug." So here are Arutha, the Prince of Krondor, and Pug, the Magician. Pug is, if there's any such thing as a main character in the first few novels, that would be Pug. "As glad as I am at the sight of you safely home again, Locklear, I can't say that my nose is as well pleased. I thought we'd broken you in, Senor James, of clambering around in the sewers." "You know the way of old habits, Highness. We encountered a bit of trouble with the gates, and so I chose a more expedient, though somewhat more disagreeable path. It came to a happy end, however. James told us to send word that he is well and would see you in the morning." "Incurable sewer rats, the both of you. I shall have to order that each of you be accompanied by a score of washing maidens to keep you presentable enough for court. Welcome home, Lockie." "Thank you. As happy as I am to be here, I'm afraid I come with bad news from the Northlands." "I expected as much. With the false Nighthawks prowling my streets above and below it, can only mean the Mordhel are up to their old mischief. What do you know?" Motioning to Gorath, Locklear introduced the former Mordhel chieftain with a wave. Slowly, Gorath lowered his hood. The gasps and startled reactions of those crowding the hall helped mask the stealthy entrance of a second Mordhel in the chamber, this one armed with a longbow. "Assassin, get down!" So an assassin tried to shoot Gorath at the last minute, but Pug, with a well-cast spell, saved the day. So now, Chapter 2, Shadow of the Nighthawks. A whisper led him through madness. He stumbled forward with unfamiliar feet 10 times too small to belong to a warrior. There were lights on the hills around him, fires, voices shouting through a downpour of sloshing hoofbeats. He reached for his sword, then remembered that he hadn't a sword that night. He had only been a boy of 12 midsummers, only a boy, and yet he led the ragged remains of his father's tribe. "Who leads the Mordhel?" the whispering voice insisted in his head. "I must see more." Years, a river of men coursed together in a bleeding tide, and he was amidst them. Screams rang, a howling figure silhouetted himself against the moon, and brandished a bloody sword aloft. The wolfish figure screamed words of wrath and damnation as he cleaved his way through his Mordhel brothers. He was Delacan, former general of Myrmindamus, leader of the unified tribes of the Northlands, and he was the enemy. "Gorath!" The memory detonated into a million fading thoughts, each fleeing after the faint echoes of a weak whisper. Before him now there was a new image, the face of a fair young girl whose pale blue eyes watched him with a weary interest. There were others too, all seated like himself around a polished council table, all studying, all dissecting, and Gorath was the object of their scrutiny. I cannot find the truth, my prince, the tired girl whispered finally, quietly. His mind is chaotic. I find images, but I cannot hold them long enough to understand. Narrowing his dark eyes, Prince Arutha glared at Gorath. He hides his thoughts. Gorath is Mordel, Pug quickly interceded for his exhausted daughter. Even with Gamina's exceptional talent for sensing thoughts, his mind may have many innate psychic defenses. I may need to send for one of my advanced students. No need to disturb studies, Master Magician Pug. The Mordhill speaks truly. Council members exchanged surprised glances, then turned their attention to the aged magician seated next to Pug. Lowering his eyes, the man made a dismissive gesture. Forgive me. I do not mean to presume, but I have looked into his mind as well, Makala continued. War in the kingdom would have many wide-ranging effects, not the least of which would lead to a disruption of trade between our two worlds. My Emperor of Suranrani would be most displeased if our rift-making secrets were seized by barbarians in warfare. Gorath glowered at the Surani magician. Trading agreements notwithstanding, the Mordhill watch your borders. Nighthawks spy on your imperial cousins, and before the snows there shall be an army come to the kingdom. Heed my words, Prince of Krondor, you must prepare your troops. Anger flashed in the thunderheads of Arutha's eyes as he rose to his feet. What I must or must not do will not be dictated by a dissident Mordel. If not for Locklear's good faith in you, I would have had your head staked on a pole and paraded up and down the low quarters of Krondor once I saw you. I have been tolerant while I listened to your vague speculations based on incidental half-heard conversations. But how am I to believe what you say? What evidence have you laid before this council to prove what Delacan intends to do? What evidence? I bear the humiliation of betraying my vow as a Mordhell, and the indignity of surrendering to a sworn enemy. Why betray Delacan to the kingdom of the Isles? Of what benefit is it to you to snare him? He is leader in name only. However bitter a draught Delacan may be for your kith and kin to drink, magician, his rule is black poison in the gullets of me and mine. Already he enslaves my cousin and rapes the land. Bloody his nose, Prince of Krondor. Blunt his swords, and the unified tribes will cast him down in wrath. Let him cross your northern border, however, and 10 other clans will join their strength to his, and the legacy of Myrmindamus will be but a spark next to his glory. Where would you have me send my troops? If indeed he intends to strike against one of our northernmost possessions, which castle shall I garrison for the attack? High Castle? Iron Pass? North Warden? If I'm to fight a war, by my teeth tell me where you'd have me fight it. Would that I could tell you. Delacan holds in good confidence only a handful of cowering dogs, and among them only a few are privy to his war plans. His private councils are restricted to choice individuals. His advisors, Narab and Nago, his mistress, Lialan, his son, Morelf, and Nighthawks. He keeps foul company, that leader of yours. Your Highness, if you give me leave, I believe I can find the evidence of Delacan's intent. I will need someone to accompany me to Romney and supplies for my journey, and a small parcel of gold. Romney? What do you think you can find in a provincial river town in the heart of the kingdom? I aim to catch a bird in flight. Of late, Delacan has emptied a good deal of his treasury to revive the services of the Nighthawks. In exchange, he has demanded tactical information about kingdom holdings. He's turned the Guild of Assassins into a guild of spies. Only for a time. Although the payments have been left in various hidden locales, the messengers were always sent to a rendezvous in Romney. If I go there, I may be able to intercept information concerning a forthcoming attack. Would such evidence suffice? Perhaps. Damn me, but I don't trust you, Gorath. How do I know that this isn't a plot of yours? We can weigh the evidence to our heart's content, and your cousins could be slitting the throats of my serfs as we sit dawdling. Go to Romney, but you will provide for yourself. If this is part of some secret Mordel scheme, I'll not look the fool before the world. Pug, unroll the map for me. The scroll smelled of dust. Scrawled in chicken scratches and spider tracks, tiny lines staggered across the moth-eaten paper, indicating the paths that were the major roads within the kingdom. Pointer in hand, Arutha bent over the map and pointed to a large black dot. We are here in Krondor. At dawn tomorrow, you will leave through the main gate and rendezvous with your escort, Senor James. I know you might have preferred Locklear's company, but he has business elsewhere. You will head to Romney. Providing one of Delacon's assassins doesn't slit your throat first, you should reach the Ursine Ford within the month. In Romney, you will join a special detachment of King Liam's soldiers staying at the Black Sheep Tavern. They may be of service to you. Nodding, Gorath took in Arutha's advice, listening studiously as the prince reviewed the details. If you find the evidence, I will act only when James has conveyed the information to me. Is that clear? Only when I receive James's word. Until then, I wait. Understood, Gorath replied. Good, Arutha replied, slapping the surface of the table with his palm. Looking around the council chamber, he noted the weird expressions of all who sat around the map. Why don't you let Gamina and Mikala show you around Krondor? I have a few things I need to consider alone. Reading the offer as a polite dismissal, the worn council members began to file out the door, most glad to be on their feet again following the grueling session. As Pug passed by, however, Arutha snagged his sleeve and drew him back to the table. If you don't mind, I would have your counsel, Cousin Pug. Certainly, Pug replied, resuming his seat. I am all attention. As I see it... Oh, I don't know why the graphics are doing this. I apologize that the graphics are being so weird here. Arutha, though, was saying, as I see it, Delacon could have only two potential targets for attack into the kingdom. High Castle and North Warden. His fortress at Sarsargoth is 300 miles to the north, and I doubt he has the resources to defend a line that long. So an attack at North Warden seems unlikely. Leaving High Castle, which is a viable alternative, but neither target seems to have an obvious goal. I know you're no field strategist, and you hate to become involved in state matters, but I should like you to delay your return to your home at Stardock for a time. I feel ill at ease. You're not alone in that. I too have sensed something unusual in the air, but I won't ascribe it to anything as dire as magic. More likely we suffer from bad soup. Feelings aside, I will call up the militia reserves from Malek's Cross, Darkmoor, and Lighton and join them to a detachment of the Krondorian Lancers just outside of the Dimwood. James will send word to me there. What of the garrison? It will remain in place. I have considered the option of a full push south, and it seems unlikely, but I will give Delacon nothing. Our agreement remains. Now we wait. God's help Gorath if he betrays us to the Moradel. So, Chapter 2, Shadow of the Nighthawks. Here we are in the palace. The majesty of the palace was impressive, drawing appreciative glances of astonishment from all as they wound through room after room of banquet halls, reception areas, and at last a colorfully decorated gymnasium before entering the throne chambers of the Prince of Krondor. The room was cramped. Locky, James muttered, looking through the Signor's personal effects piled in disorganized heaps. You may be a fine swordsman, but your personal organization leaves a bit to be desired. So we can look in Locklear's, all of Locklear's goods are here, which we can take with us before we leave. Here's Katala, Pug's wife. A pleasure to see you again, James. Mine is the greater pleasure, my lady. Is Pug about? You've just missed him. He and Mikala went off to discuss magic someplace, and if I know my husband, that means I won't see him for a few days. Even on holiday, he can't seem to take his mind away from the art for long. In many ways, he and the prince are much alike. Where is Arutha, anyway? Out with his twins and the Princess Anita. It seems your famed luck is running thin today. Quite the contrary, for I still have your company. If I may have a moment. As much time as you need, what may I do for you? Let's ask him about her daughter, Gamina. So when do I get to meet this stunning daughter of yours? I've heard quite a bit about Gamina, but I've been too busy to make the time to meet her. I imagine you will see her as soon as I do. She's more than likely trailing Pug and Mikala about the palace. Any opportunity to hear her father discuss magic, and she's immediately at his side. Then too, and maybe she's hiding away from Arutha's twins. She's not quite interested in boys yet. How about magic supplies? I know that quite few of the artificers in Stardock have begun exporting their goods from the Academy. Are there any good places to buy magical items near here? The most notable one that's close is a little place called Starduck Annex at the Abbey of Ishep at Sarth. Officially, they have no ties with the Academy, but there's not much we can do to keep them from using the name. There's also a fellow by the name of Daba who buys from us, but he lives a long distance from here, out north of Romney if I recall. Alright, well, we talked to, Tala. We can head to the sewer or we can exit. They could be seen. James halted the party to consider. Let's not give Delacan any more help than he needs. If we leave through the palace's main gates, we might as well have trumpeters going before us and announcing the fact that to everyone within the Kingdom of the Isles. The sewers are probably our best option. So we're going to go back through the sewers. James pulled the grate open. Immediately he was overwhelmed by the stench of the sewers and looked back to Gorath for his advice. "Smells awful down there," he said. "Are you sure you're ready to go in?" They made their way into the reeking blackness. Alright, we will come back to the castle and go through Locklear's items and take them with us as well. But for now, I just wanted to get into the sewers so I could have access to the main menu, because this is a good place to quit. We've completed Chapter 1, and now we're in Chapter 2, Shadow of the Nighthawks. In our next episode, we're heading back through the sewers as we continue on our quest. I'll see you then.